Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and I wanted to show you today this junk journal that I created for my Bible journaling retreat that I hosted earlier this month in Spofford, New Hampshire. And I decided this year that I was just going to create a junk journal. A lot of times during Bible journaling retreats, I am so busy and fellowshipping with other ladies that I don't get much Bible journaling actually done. And so this year I decided I was going to keep it simple, and I created this junk journal. A lot of the stuff I did beforehand, which I will show you in a second, but I did show some snippets of me working on it on my Instagram stories. And so I wanted to come in here and show you how it all came out. I did finish this during the retreat. I was super proud of myself because it was a good amount of work, and I got it completed simply because I had those basic pages already created beforehand. That was the big thing for me to do, was to create as much as I could beforehand, and then I just needed to slap some pictures together. But anyways, I did use printables that were donated by Ingrid Carlson at Caratuti on Instagram, and also on YouTube, and also Laura Osterman. She works for By the Well for God, and you can find her lost_at_work, I believe is her Instagram. I will link both of them down below in the YouTube description. But anyways, this was such a fun project. I definitely will try to do it year after year now. Right now I'm hosting a yearly retreat. I'm thinking about possibly also adding a spring one. So make sure, stay in the loop on my Instagram with that. But I already have next year's booked for Camp Spofford in Spofford, New Hampshire in the fall. So be on the lookout for that. I will release dates soon to the general public. But here we go. So what I did is I actually went thrift store shopping with my friend and grabbed one of these books. Now I just grabbed this one. This is actually my daughter's book, so I wouldn't do this, but I wanted to show you the kind of book I got. Obviously mine is just a smidge bigger, but it's one of these children's books that have that nice cushy kind of cover. I love texture and feely stuff, and so I really wanted one of these kind of comfy books. I don't know what to call them, but they're the hardcover but have that nice soft feel to them. So this is the kind of book that I got. And then what I did with my pages is I actually took a couple pages out. I knew I wasn't going to be able to fill all of a board book, all those pages with stuff. And so I took a substantial amount of pages out, and that also allowed me to add some chunk to my junk journal. So I just came in with an X-Acto knife, cut some pages out. Not that first one though, because that holds the binding, but some of the interior ones, I basically did every other one. And then I added fabric tape once I cut these out to nicely secure these pages together. So what's great about this kind of book is that you have these kind of hard pages as well, so it makes it easier to work in. It was just a great way to create a junk journal. So this is kind of the idea of what I started with, but let me jump into this. Also, I created this fun little floofy with all the colors of the retreat, and I added this little gorgeous little wood emblem or logo of our retreat. These were donated by the Well for God, and the logo was created by my friend Lindsay at Lindsay Decor. So this was a fun little addition to my floofy. So here we go. That's the side kind of where I added that in. I used a crocodile to add that, and I did that before I started working on the interior, but after I added the fabric. So with the fabric, I ended up using Cocoina glue. I do have a stick, I believe, right here. Let me give me a second to grab it. Okay, so this is the stick I use for adding the fabric down. I picked up this fabric from Hobby Lobby. Just wanted something plain and simple. And here we go. So here is the first page. I also had some help from my friend Mindy at Minders78. She brought her, I believe it's a Selfie by Canon. It's one of those mini little printers. It worked great for the retreat. I was so happy with the quality of the prints, and she helped me by printing out all my pictures there so I could just add that in. The theme was Blessed Assurance. Love that hymn and the meaning behind it. So I added this in, the little A for assurance. And these were some old ephemera hearts I had in my stash that I haven't gotten rid of. And so I really wanted to bring us some of those elements that I had, you know, that I never use because it's not part of a kit or whatnot. So that was kind of a great way to use up some of my stash. Also, Jessa Crowned by Jesus, she brought her sewing machine on an airplane. It's like one of those little mini sewing machines, not one of the handheld ones, but you know, a mini sewing machine. And she ended up helping me by using her little sewing machine to add some fun texture to each page. So I have this picture of my husband and I. My husband is a great addition to my retreat and helps me out so much with all the stuff. He also does Starbucks runs for all the ladies. And so he is a much loved person at the retreat. I have John 6:37 that says, all that the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me, I will never cast out. And then we have our big group photo that I take on the gazebo over at Camp Spofford, and just a little date stamp, September 9th, 2023 is when we took this picture. So these are the papers in the background from Ingrid. And then I have some more things from Laura in here as well, like right here. She created these really fun ephemera pieces. So we have this, what else? There's more on other pages. But then some of the things like these little papers are from Ingrid in the background, but I loved adding photos. And what I also did was had some room for people to sign. So I have obviously some ledger paper in the background, and some people signed on this page because I ran out of room on my regular one. But I just loved adding these little memories to a book that I can keep forever. I was roommates with my friend Jessa and Mindy. They are both part of the By the Well for God team as well. And I love these little photos from Laura. So this is also hers as well. I added some little Tim Holtz stars and some texture. Also got to use some alphas that I don't always use. So that was fun. Now this is my guest book page. So the main verses were John 6:37 through 40, which I read for you just a second ago. But this was my guest book page where I laid this out on a table once I was done and let people just sign, the ladies that were there. I'm not sure if everyone signed, but I have a substantial amount. Like I said, some people ended up having to sign in other areas. But these are the marquee letters from Tim Holtz. I just stapled them to this like corrugated packaging that I had in my stash, and then a little piece of paper in the background. I made this little fun bunting around this ephemera piece from Laura. And then the next page, I have a bunch of stuff in here. Now, hear me out here. I used this Braille paper, number one, because it's in my stash and I haven't used it yet. And I just think it's such a fun texture. But also, we were, it's Blessed Assurance. Blessed Assurance was written by Fanny Crosby, and she was blind. So I thought that was a nice little touch. I also have our schedule for the retreat here, and then a little Rest in Him ephemera piece. And then this ends up being a little pocket. So I have two different things in here. So I have both of our devotional days. I do devotions at the retreat, and so I have both days tucked into here. Both are backed with some paper from Ingrid, and then I also have a photo on this one. So I'll stick that back in this pocket. And then this just ends up being, you know, double-sided with that. But then this one is double-sided with some paper from Ingrid and a little ticket. And then I added this fabric piece to match the cover. But this was bingo night, and my husband runs bingo, and we also had Scott, a helper, that's Mindy's husband, Mindy right here. He came and helped out as well, and it was hilarious because my husband has a very strong Boston accent, so all the ladies like him calling the numbers because it's just kind of funny. So we have also mini clips from Gail that were donated. We want to take a picture for that. And then right up here, let me bring this up close. This was our FaceTime with the girls at the By the Well for God shop. A couple of us went in together and purchased some Starbucks for them because we were getting Starbucks and we were missing them. So we decided to pick up some Starbucks for them and have it Ubered over there. So that is one of the little pockets I have. So those go in there. And then I also have this really funny picture of Jessa. This was a rainy day and she didn't want to get her hair wet, so she put a trash bag over her head and ran around. We also have the By the Well for God team that was present, so we added a picture right there. And I added a quote from one of our devotional days, which says, "When I look at myself, I don't see how I could be saved. But when I look at Christ, I don't see how I can be lost." And that was from Martin Luther. So last page I have is just a collage of a bunch of pages when we got our pictures. When we got our pictures taken, we always take pictures in our shirts. I have Blessed Assurance hymn in the back. This is my story I made into, you know, a little fun, little floofy thing. And then I added just different ephemera pieces from Laura with some papers backed behind all the pictures. So that is kind of it. I really enjoyed this project. I think I will hope to do it in years to come for all my retreats. Like I said, I did cut out a substantial amount of pages. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it was an easy way for me to get, you know, enough pictures in, but not be overwhelmed. It also is a bit chunky, as you can see here. It does, you know, open up a little bit, but can be closed fully like that. But when you just leave it, it's like that. So anyways, I just thought I would show you this because I thought it was a really fun project, and you might want to do something like this for either some family history or a retreat or vacation that you are taking. And I just thought it was a fun thing to do. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know down below in the comments if you've done a junk journal like this with a child's book, because I think it's an excellent idea. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye guys.